Друзья, всем привет! Сколько времени прошло с нашего последнего видео, но на то есть очень важная причина. Дело в том, что на протяжении всего этого времени наша команда усердно работала над созданием нового контента, в формате который вам так полюбился. Сегодня мы начинаем серию эксклюзивных обзоров британских учебных заведений, чтобы познакомить вас с вузами, лучшими подготовительными колледжами и топовыми бординговыми школами Великобритании, страны номер 1 для поступления наших студентов. Каждый новый обзор расскажет историю потрясающего учебного заведения, которые были тщательно для вас отобраны. В некоторых у нас будет возможность пообщаться с официальными представителями, профессорами, а также студентами. Поверьте, это было достаточно непросто, потому что разрешение на съемки подобного рода мы ждали от 3 до 6 месяцев. Сегодня я предлагаю вам отправиться вместе со мной в Лондон и посмотреть один из наших любимых подготовительных центров, который пользуется огромной популярностью среди наших студентов – Kaplan International College London. Мы знаем, как важно выбрать для себя учебное заведение, которое позволит вам комфортно интегрироваться в мир британского образования, полностью подготовиться и успешно прогрессировать в топовый вуз. Все это гарантирует Kaplan International College London. Мы, как официальные представители, рады, что у нас есть возможность не только показать вам колледж KICL, но и полностью организовать комфортный процесс поступления и предложить, самое главное, частичные стипендии, доступные эксклюзивно только нашим ребятам. Ну что, пора начинать наше увлекательное путешествие. Сегодня мы пойдем смотреть один из наших любимых подготовительных центров в Лондоне. Но вначале хочу с вами обсудить вопрос подготовки, именно в контексте нас, как международных студентов. За 8 лет моей работы в мире международного образования у нас уже есть перечень, наверное, самых популярных вопросов, которые нам задают всегда студенты и родители. Некоторые из них следующие. Сложно ли будет учиться и к чему стоит подготовиться? Сегодня хочу это очень детально обсудить. Первый момент. Сложно ли будет учиться? Учиться будет сложно. Независимо от того, насколько вы успешный ученик, либо же студент в своей родной стране, вы должны понимать, что так как мы являемся международными студентами, наша система образования будет кардинальным образом отличаться от зарубежных. Например, подача материала, стиль преподавания, задания, которые вам дают, все будет по-другому. Как себя подготовить? Очень часто студенты, после того, как они уже успешно зачислены, стараются как можно лучше подготовиться к своей дальнейшей учебе. Но проблема заключается в том, что вы не знаете, к чему готовиться, потому что вы никогда не сталкивались с этой современной и зарубежной системой обучения. Очень часто ребята начинают штудировать математику, либо же студенты, которые поступают в область computer science, начинают изучать языки программирования. И очень всегда забавно, когда спустя примерно месяц они мне пишут, что «Ника, вот прошел месяц обучения, и все абсолютно по-другому, поэтому я все начинаю изучать с самого начала». К чему я веду? Лучший способ подготовиться – это приехать сюда, адаптироваться, пройти правильную программу обучения и успешно прогрессировать в выбранный вуз. Но самое главное, в дальнейшем это поспособствует тому, что вы станете успешным студентом. Еще один момент, который я бы хотела подчеркнуть, это разница в системах образования. Например, когда мы поступаем с нашим 11-летним аттестатом, не то чтобы наш аттестат не является валидным, он является, его принимают, но именно по академической нагрузке мы не можем конкурировать с другими международными студентами, потому что в рамках школьной программы наши ребята изучают, я специально считала, смотрела по выпускным аттестатам наших ребят, так вот, мы изучаем 17-20 предметов. За рубежом в старшей школе студенты будут изучать примерно от 4 до 6. Вы представляете, какая колоссальная разница в вашем фокусе? Именно из-за того, что у нас нерелевантная система образования, нашим студентам, например, которые поступают на бакалавра после школы, необходимый курс Foundation, либо же International Year One. Но я очень рада тому, что Великобритания является такой благодарной страной в контексте этих программ подготовки. Здесь вы их можете найти прямо на любой вкус и цвет. В заключении хочу также поговорить с будущими магистрами, потому что мой опыт поступления в британскую магистратуру, я училась в Бирмингемском университете, показал, что программа премастер Конечно, она не обязательна, потому что вы сразу можете поступать после вашей программы бакалавра, но она действительно очень желательна, потому что вы не представляете, насколько колоссальная разница вас ждет. И для этого, собственно, и создана программа «Премастер». Ну, на этом у меня все. Сейчас я приглашаю вас посетить один из моих, как я уже говорила, любимых подготовительных центров Лондона. KICL находится в самом центре Лондона, в первой зоне, совсем рядом с лондонским Сити. Посмотрите на этот знаменитый небоскреб. Его название The Shard, что в переводе с английского означает «осколок стекла», что очень точно отражает его архитектурную концепцию. А еще это самое высокое здание в Лондоне. KICL является одним из самых уважаемых международных колледжей в Лондоне, после окончания которого студенты могут успешно прогрессировать в различные топовые британские вузы на программы бакалавра и магистратуры, о чем мы сегодня будем говорить подробнее. А сейчас я отправляюсь на встречу с директором KICL Энди Куином, который пригласил нас посетить этот замечательный колледж и показать его вам, нашим зрителям.
This year we're probably going to have 1,600 students.
Oh my.
So quite a big college. Here on the ground floor we've got the college services area, which is about 15 people whose job is to help the students with everything that isn't their classes. So visas, accommodation, health, welfare, exam timetables, social program, progression to university and so on.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
so obviously most of our students arrive in September, but we also have a January start date, we also have a March start date, and we even have a super intensive April start date, and they can still finish their programs by September and go to university. So yeah, so this year about 1,600 students probably. We've got about 900 already from 80 different countries, foundation, international year one, pre-masters. 7 different university partners, 1,025 different degrees.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's quite an operation.
На протяжении более чем 10 лет подготовительный центр успешно готовит международных студентов к дальнейшему успешному поступлению в топовые британские вузы. Например, среди партнеров есть такие известные, как City University of London, Университет Вестминстера, Университет Крейнфилда, Университет Бирмингема, Бристоля, Йорка и Лондонский университет Королевы Марии. Andy, thank you for meeting us today, and it would be great if you could tell us more about KICL, its preparation programs and opportunities that you can offer to international students.
Yep, okay, so we have a wide range of programs, from foundation programs in business law and social sciences, in science and engineering, in art and design. We have International Year 1 in Business, which articulates the University of Westminster Year 2 Business Management degree. And we have an International Year 1 in Engineering, which helps students join Year 2 of an engineering degree at Birmingham University. Okay. And then we also have pre-masters programs as well. Those different programs articulate into over 1,000 different degrees at our 7 partner universities. Everything from computing to business, engineering to law to many, many different degrees.
Okay, thank you so much. Somebody.
Been here for 8 years now.
Okay.
We took over the whole building, spent a lot of money making it look like a nice college, and one of the principles that we kept was we didn't just want to fill it with classrooms, we wanted to make it a nice space for students to be in, so they didn't just come in for their classes and then go home. They can spend the whole day here if they want to. And a good example of that is this floor here. So there's no real classrooms on this floor, there's just lots of space to relax and...
It's like a real student's hub.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
yeah.
very cozy. And the view is amazing.
Yeah, views are better and better as you go through the building. It's a good example of the history and culture in this area. So that wall, believe it or not, is 800 years old. So this was the end wall of a palace, which used to go along there and down. So there used to be a bishop called the Bishop of Winchester. Winchester's a city about 100 miles from London. The Bishop of Winchester was a very powerful person in the Middle Ages. He used to live here when he had business with the king. And they only actually discovered this about 40 years ago, because before that this whole area was very different. It was very built up with old factories and old warehouses. And then when they opened it up about 40 years ago, they discovered this end wall of the Palace of Winchester. So parts of that wall are 800 years old. It's actually physically connected to the school. And it's officially sort of looked after by English Heritage. Yeah.
Oh, I understand right now, because you have downstairs the picture that
Exactly.
is about.
And the building's called Palace House to
Yes.
reflect that. Yeah.
Nice.
Here we've got a student breakout area, obviously. We don't have a cafeteria, we don't need a cafeteria, because there's Borough Market just 2 minutes away, but students can bring their food here, they can relax, find out what's on the social programme, game table football, we've got a games room through there. We have a lecture theatre, we don't use it so much for teaching anymore. One of the weeks in the timetable is called University Transition Week, and in that week we do lots of things with our partner universities. We take all our students to their future universities, so even the ones going to Birmingham and Bristol, we take them on buses and coaches and take them all there for an open day. Do lots of things.
I like this district so much, because we were walking around yesterday and we were just talking that it's, it's the city, and it has some kind of business energy, that motivates you, that charges you.
You can imagine if you're a business management student, you can see these buildings from your classroom. You're like, wow,
you see,
I've arrived.
You can feel amazing opportunities or something like this, and it's amazing. I mean, London is one of the cities when I get, this atmosphere, this sense of that you belong to this business world, and it's great.
The idea of the classrooms, about 4 years ago, we sort of looked at our curriculum and our pedagogy and decided to refresh it a bit, and we decided to move away from lecturing students, because it doesn't make sense in the 21st century to have a person who has all the knowledge in their heads. Students sit there passively and the teacher pours knowledge into their heads. That just doesn't make sense. The knowledge is out there, the knowledge is everywhere. Where the students are at the centre, the teacher sort of moves around, there's no front of the classroom really. Students work in groups, lots of group work as you were asking before. Lots of flipped learning where the material is sent to the students before the class. So the students find out the knowledge then, if you like, and then we use the classroom time to talk about that knowledge. A lot more like a seminar they're going to get at university. Yes, they will get lectures at university, but most of what they get will be, working together with teachers and with other students. They're doing assessments of different kinds all the way through the programme, so they can't just do nothing for weeks and weeks and weeks and hope to rely on the end of programme exams. They're learning and being tested all the way through.
But I guess that's nice, because it's much easier for them to get used to this process, so they are not so stressed out about approaching exam.
Exactly. Because by the time they get to the end of the programme, they should know more or less how they're getting on anyway. And we give students lots of resit opportunities and repeating here, there, and everywhere. So,
Okay, nice, very nice.
So it's quite interesting, because obviously we've got students from 80 different countries, some of whom have very traditional education systems where they do sit there quietly in a classroom of 60 people and they say nothing and they don't even put their hands up. And they come in here and we're like, speak, ask questions, challenge the teacher. But they like it, they get used to it.
Друзья, уже исходя из достаточно большого опыта и обратной связи наших студентов, которые здесь учились и которые успешно поступили в университет, я честно могу сказать, что мне очень нравится подход обучения именно здесь, в KICL. Объясню почему. Потому что здесь обучение менее классическое и более практическое, если так можно сказать. Малокомплектные группы. Очень много интерактива, очень много работы в команде и, конечно же, такой действительно большой пласт коммуникации, как со стороны взаимодействия между студентами, так и со стороны преподавателей. what does the typical studying process look like, and what could be the intensity of the program? What kind of tasks the student can expect from their program?
Yep. So a little bit of general information about the college. We have about 1,600 students here at our peak. We have lots of different start dates, so there's a lot of flexibility. If a student can't come in September, but they can only come in January, for example, or even March, we'll find a place for them to do their program and still progress to university in September. We've got students from 80 different countries, so it's a real global college. It reflects the cosmopolitan nature of London, lots of different languages, ethnicities, religions, beliefs, ways of thinking. It's a real melting pot in the classroom. Students generally have about 20 hours per week in class, and we expect about the same number of hours outside the class in preparing and doing assignments and assessments and so on. Students have a number of different modules. Sometimes there's a bit of choice about which modules they have. Sometimes the modules are chosen by the future university. The teaching approach, the pedagogy is quite modern. We don't stand in front of students and give lectures. We work in classrooms like this, where the students are working together in groups of 5. The teacher moves around to help. Lots of learning through the internet. We've got a very good virtual learning environment where students can find lots of preparation material for classes and lots of things to do afterwards. So it's a pretty intensive program. Obviously 20 hours of classes plus 20 hours of studying outside classes is a full week. We start teaching at 9 o'clock and we finish at 6 o'clock, Monday to Friday. So they don't have any classes before 9 o'clock and they don't have any classes after 6 o'clock and they don't have any classes at the weekend. So obviously they'll have gaps in their timetable. So they might have, 4 hours on Monday morning and nothing in the afternoon. They might have 2 hours on Tuesday, a gap for a couple of hours and 2 hours in the afternoon. They might have a free Wednesday if they're lucky. Okay. Sometimes they get 3 days. So they have to sort of plan their time quite carefully about what they do in those free periods. One thing that we've tried to do is make the building very attractive and very nice to be in. So students don't just come in for their classes, they can stay all day here if they want, just sitting around, partly working, partly not working, doing what they like. So yeah, so it's hard work. One of the things we say to students when they arrive is, you've got to hit the ground running. Your program is 8 months, 7 months, 6 months, depending on when they start. Yes, they have the possibility to work a few hours a week. They're allowed to work for a few hours a week, but that should be sort of weekends or evenings or something like that. Yeah, but as long as they stay focused, they come to classes, they will progress. We're very proud of the number of students we get through the program every year. So last year we had 1,437 students, exactly. 92% of those passed their program, successfully completed it, and that includes students who had to leave because it was, their parents' circumstances had changed or they got ill or whatever. So 92% passed, and 88% not only passed, but passed at the right level to go to one of those great universities. So nearly 9 out of 10 of every student who started their program had the opportunity to go to that university they wanted to go to.
That's great numbers, really, because the students, they are often worried, will they, progress? Will it be successful? So that's amazing.
So each student has a personal tutor, a named personal tutor, someone they can ask questions to about their studies, about how they're getting on and so on. And there's 2 hours in every student's timetable per week for learning support, which is where they interact with a teacher who can see how they're getting on, see how their attendance is going, talk about any assessments they've got, this kind of thing. If the student's under 18, they have a named one-to-one personal tutor who communicates with them every week to see how they're getting on, because obviously we want to look after our under 18s with a bit more care than an adult student. But all students need to be looked after when they're overseas, so we make sure that we do look after them. We have various groups of staff, a welfare panel, a safeguarding panel, where we look at students who might have issues, either issues they had before they came here or new issues, and we keep in contact with them, yeah.
Nice. I have a question about social life because it's really important.
Yeah.
Does KICL organize some extracurricular activities for the students?
Yeah, we do lots of things. We do the traditional things like visits to other cities, to Oxford, Cambridge, Bath, Brighton, wherever. We do lots of trips inside London. We have various clubs and societies. It's not like a university where you might have 200 different clubs because they have 30,000 students, but we have a conversation club, we have a coding club, we have sports clubs, we do football and badminton and basketball on a weekly basis. There's lots of things that students can get involved in. We have student ambassadors, we have student representatives, we have anything that a student wants to set up. If they want support in setting up a particular kind of club, we'll try to help them. Debating we do, we have an art club, there's lots of different things. Yeah.
And the last thing, what are the 3 essential tips that you can give to any future student?
That's a really interesting question. I think I'd say 3 things, and these are messages that I give to new students when they arrive. Attending the class is the #1 factor in a student's success. Students don't need to be geniuses to pass this program and go on to university. They need to come to class and work hard, and if they do that, they will succeed. So that's certainly one thing. I think being open, they're young people. The temptation for all of us when we go into a new environment is to find someone who looks like you and sounds like you and speaks your language, and you sort of cling on to them and say, oh, my friend, don't leave me in this strange world with lots of different people. And I always say, that's normal and natural, and everybody feels like that when they go into a strange place. But after a few days, leave that person alone and look around and see all these amazing people from all these different countries. And this is the first step for many of them away from their parents, living in a new country, on their journey to becoming a global citizen, if you like. And that's about speaking to people from different places, but not only different places, people who think differently from you, as I say, look different from you, smell different to you, have completely different ideas. But, we're all equal. We're not the same. We're all very different, but we're all equal, and that's how we treat people, and that's how we expect them to treat each other, and that will stand them in very good stead at university and in their future careers as well. So I think that's a really important thing.
Great. Thank you so much.
No problem. My pleasure.
Наше знакомство с KICL на сегодня подошло к концу. А я хочу напомнить, что наша команда может полностью организовать весь процесс поступления в это учебное заведение на любой интейк. Если вы бы хотели узнать больше о нашем полном сопровождении по поступлению в Великобританию, активная ссылка с нашими контактами ждет вас уже в описании к данному видео. Совсем скоро мы снова увидимся с вами. На этот раз мы посмотрим старинный Кембридж и одну из лучших бординговых школ Великобритании, где студенты смогут продолжить свое среднее образование. Поэтому остаемся на связи.